When selecting a switch box or handy box for old work, firstly assess the wall thickness. Measure the depth of the wall to determine the box depth required, typically 1.5 inches or 0.75 inches deep. Secondly, determine the number of switches. Select a box with sufficient holes for the number of switches or outlets needed. Thirdly, consider the cable type. Choose a box with knockouts or cable clamps appropriate for the type of cable used, such as NMB or BX. Fourthly, choose the material. Consider galvanized steel or plastic boxes based on durability and weather resistance requirements. To install a switch box or handy box in old work, you will need the following materials: a switch box or handy box, a screwdriver, a drill, a jigsaw or saber saw, a hammer, nails or screws, and fish tape or wire puller. The steps are as follows. 1. Cut an opening in the wall. Using a jigsaw or saber saw, carefully cut out a rectangular opening in the wall the same size as the switch box. 2. Insert the box into the opening. Slide the switch box into the opening and align the holes with the stud framing. 3. Secure the box. Attach the box to the stud using screws or nails. Ensure it is flush with the wall surface. 4. Cut the drywall. Score around the perimeter of the switch box with a utility knife and gently cut away the drywall inside the scored area. 5. Insert the switch or outlet. Connect the wires to the switch or outlet and insert it into the box. 6. Screw in the faceplate. Attach the faceplate to the switch or outlet with screws. 7. Test the switch or outlet. Turn on the power and test the switch or outlet to ensure proper operation. Here are some helpful tips. Firstly, use a level to ensure the box is installed straight. Secondly, leave enough slack in the wires to easily make connections. Thirdly, use blank faceplates to cover unused holes in the box. Fourthly, seal any gaps around the switch box to prevent drafts. Fifthly, wear safety glasses and work carefully when cutting openings in walls. Remember to always disconnect the power before working with electrical components. Ensure that all wiring connections are secure and properly insulated. If you are unsure about any aspect of the installation, consult a qualified electrician. Before starting any electrical work, familiarize yourself with the relevant electrical codes and regulations in your area. Always use the correct type and size of wire for the circuit you are working on, as specified by the electrical code. When working with metal boxes, ensure that they are properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. Use cable connectors to secure the cables to the box and protect them from damage. Do not overload the circuit by connecting too many devices to a single outlet or switch. Regularly inspect your electrical system for any signs of damage or wear, such as frayed wires or loose connections. If you encounter any problems, have them repaired by a qualified electrician as soon as possible. When cutting into walls, be aware of the potential for hidden pipes or wires. Use a stud finder to locate studs and avoid cutting into them. If you need to run new wiring through walls, use fish tape or wire puller to make the job easier. When connecting wires, use wire connectors that are appropriate for the size and type of wire. Make sure that the connections are tight and secure. If you are using a plastic box, make sure that it is properly supported so that it does not sag or break. Use a level to ensure that the box is installed straight and plumb. When installing a switch or outlet, follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Make sure that the device is properly grounded and that the connections are secure. After completing the installation, test the switch or outlet to make sure that it is working properly. If you encounter any problems, consult a qualified electrician. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity. Wear appropriate safety gear, such as safety glasses and gloves, and take your time to avoid making mistakes. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the job for you. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. By following these tips, you can safely and effectively install switch boxes and handy boxes in old work. When working with old wiring, be extra cautious as the insulation may be brittle or damaged. Consider replacing old wiring with new wiring to improve safety and reliability. Label all wires clearly to avoid confusion during installation or future maintenance. Take photos or videos of the wiring before you start working on it, so you have a reference point. If you are working on a multi-wire branch circuit, be sure to identify the neutral wire and connect it to the correct terminal. When using a hammer to secure a box, be careful not to damage the box or the surrounding wall. Use a nail set to countersink the nails and prevent them from protruding. If you are working in a damp or wet location, use a waterproof box and fittings to protect the wiring from moisture. Consider using a GFCI outlet in areas where there is a risk of electric shock, such as bathrooms and kitchens. When replacing an old switch or outlet, be sure to match the voltage and amperage ratings of the new device to the old one. If you are installing a dimmer switch, make sure it is compatible with the type of lighting you are using. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off before you start working on any electrical circuit. Never work on electrical circuits while standing in water or on a wet surface. Keep children and pets away from the work area. Dispose of old electrical components properly. Do not throw them in the trash. Consider recycling them at a local recycling center. By following these safety tips, you can minimize the risk of electrical shock and other hazards. Remember that electrical work can be challenging, but with careful planning and execution, you can successfully complete your project. Prioritize safety and consult a qualified electrician if you have any doubts or concerns. When cutting the opening for the box, make sure it is not too large. A snug fit is ideal to prevent the box from moving or wobbling. If the opening is too big, you can use shims to fill the gaps. Use a utility knife to score the drywall before cutting it with a jigsaw or saber saw. This will help to prevent the drywall from chipping or cracking. When inserting the box into the opening, make sure it is oriented correctly. The mounting screws should be accessible from the front of the box. When securing the box to the stud, use screws that are long enough to penetrate the stud securely. Do not over-tighten the screws, as this could damage the box or the stud. When connecting the wires to the switch or outlet, use the correct wire connectors for the size and type of wire. Make sure the connections are tight and secure. When attaching the faceplate, use screws that are the correct length. Do not over-tighten the screws, as this could crack the faceplate. When testing the switch or outlet, use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off before you touch any of the wires. If the switch or outlet does not work properly, turn off the power and check the wiring connections. If you are unable to resolve the problem, consult a qualified electrician. Regularly inspect your electrical system for any signs of damage or wear. If you find any problems, have them repaired by a qualified electrician as soon as possible. By following these maintenance tips, you can keep your electrical system in good working order and prevent potential hazards. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, so always prioritize safety. Use appropriate safety gear such as safety glasses and gloves, and take your time to avoid making mistakes. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the job for you.